Before we go any further, just want to thank all the people over on Patreon, because without their help, none of this upgraded content that you'd be seeing would be possible. Over on the Patreon, you get exclusive sneak peeks at upcoming videos. You also get access to the Patreon only Discord server. Coming up soon, I'm going to be working on talking about other anime that I can't talk about here on YouTube, like say ReZero, Konosuba, and etc. I'm also going to start posting the scripts for video essays, and every 3 months we do an anime and manga haul. We also are going to open up the Patreon only Discord server to YouTube members at the $2 price tier, which also means that members will be seeing their name here alongside the patron. But with that being said, let's get back into today's video. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another review for Konoha Shinden Chapter 2, the bi-weekly manga that runs opposite on the Sasuke Shinden Manga Chapters. As a reminder, these chapters are available on Manga Plus and Viz Media's website, and if you want Boruto bi-weekly, read both of these series on Manga Plus and comment Boruto bi-weekly so Shueisha staff sees the support for bi-weekly Naruto content. That being said, let's jump into the review because we got a good bit to discuss on this one. We're continuing to see the setup for Mirai Sarutobi's character in this chapter, with her continuing as a ninja and feeling the expectations that are placed upon her as the grandchild of the third Hokage and the daughter of an elite jonin in Asuma and another talented jonin in Kurenai. Mirai more than once in this chapter feels the weight of her lineage weighed down upon her and has a moment where she asks herself if she's only becoming a ninja merely to fulfill her expectations, something that we've seen Boruto struggle with briefly in manga format, more so extended in the anime, but it was nice to see this from a different perspective here from another character of an opposite gender. Sai Natsuo does a good job at times capturing Mirai's emotions when she struggles with this burden, but just like the last chapter, the true highlight of this chapter is the continued new scenes that we're getting in the chapter to further flesh out the story, similar to how Sasuke Shinden manga added new scenes to both of its chapters. The chapter itself opens up with a group of criminals meeting in their hideout, and before they even know what hit them, Mirai sends one of them flying through the door and against the wall. A skirmish quickly ensues with Mirai easily blocking the attacks and sending another man flying backwards with a kick, which, side note, the way Mirai was breaking through the panel again to show off her presence was another creative use of handling that I'll always be a sucker for enjoying. The rest of the criminals attempt to attack Mirai, but she proceeds to kick one of them in the face, dodge the stab attempt from behind by another, and quickly one-shots him and sends a warning to the remaining criminal when she throws Asuma's chakra blades at his face. But Mirai, due to still working on her chakra control, overdoes it and ends up cracking the entire wall. We then see the trend of high expectations for her character continue to mount, where in the first chapter we had Kakashi praising her as having the potential to be a exceptional shinobi one day when he spoke to Shikamaru in the Hokage office, and now the other shinobi on her team are saying that she's basically the second coming of her father, and one goes even as far as saying that she's got potential to be Hokage one day, which just further makes Mirai uncomfortable and feeling the pressure. But it's a great use of using other characters being used to show you how Mirai's characters perceive, and then using that same information to further build on her internal conflict, which is something I've told you guys repeatedly. The mark of a good writer is someone who knows how to make external conflicts and internal conflicts naturally rise alongside the character's internal conflict. In this case, Mirai's need to prove herself as a shinobi and her doubts that she can never live up to the expectations that were placed onto her by those around her. That's a high burden for such a young character, where we see her saying it feels as if people look at her and either compare it to her grandfather, one of the strongest Hokage ever and arguably the most skilled Hokage ever, and her father, a man who's considered to be a Konoha elite who is listed in bingo books all throughout the underworld. However, what we also see is that on top of her feeling a sense of loneliness from not knowing her father and only hearing stories about him, we get the confirmation in manga format, something that I've told you guys for years now. Mirai has enough potential that she's been placed in a high role of being one of Naruto's personal bodyguards, which, yes, Naruto's super strong, but the Hokage always picks their own personal guards, and she's the only shinobi given orders to switch between the 6th Hokage and the 7th Hokage, because both Naruto and Kakashi see an extremely high ceiling for her character. However, this in-universe is the first time she's guarding Kakashi, and we see her bummed out over the fact that she won't be going to the 5 Kage summit that's taking place in Konoha, and we get a great set of flashback pages showing us the relationship between Mirai and Shikamaru. They're playing shogi, and it's refreshing to see a member of the old generation taking the time to teach the new generation, even when the new gen character isn't aware that they're being taught, which in this case is Shikamaru teaching her about the importance concordance of the king and giving her the same wiggle room to figure out for herself that Asuma did with him, all while reminding her that this mission she's going on is one that Naruto personally requested that she takes, which longtime viewers know the information that wasn't presented in the anime version of this story, which based on how the manga is being handled, I do believe we're going to get it at the end why Naruto and Kakashi truly picked her for this mission itself. It's more than just looking for the guy that's doing all those murders in the land of steam. Out of the whole sequence, there was one set of panels in particular that I really enjoyed a lot, which are the panels where you see Shikamaru's face in between Mirai with her palm holding up her face and Asuma doing the exact same pose on the left of Shikamaru, and the subtle ways that the eyes of Mirai and Shikamaru change throughout the entire page. It's the small details that go a really long way towards conveying emotion, and I love it. We then jump over to Mirai wondering what it is that she could be guarding Kakashi for, and it leads to a fight sequence in her mind where she and Kakashi are fighting side by side against a group of terrorists that are targeting Kakashi, which goes back to the earlier internal conflict for her character, feeling the weight of her expectations and wanting a real opportunity to prove herself in this new era where conflict still exists, but due to the 5 nations being on peaceful terms, she hasn't gotten nearly as many opportunities to prove herself as past generations. After walking with Kakashi and Guy through the forest and thinking that the elderly couple were going to attack Kakashi, we get a few panels that I thought were well done, with the first being the enlarged eyes in one panel where Mirai is shown when she spots the elderly couple and she's drawn with an explanation point in her speech bubble. The second being Kakashi making that bruh face when Mirai is shown sweating with her back to Kakashi. Her face is shaded in and her eyes are widened as well before shifting over to Mirai looking embarrassed when she turns to meet Kakashi's gaze, which is a great use of comedy here, with the panels being referenced as being used as anticipation panels for the impact panel of Mirai making that gag face with the whited out eyes and the blush on her face when Kakashi calls her out for thinking that the elderly couple were going to attack Kakashi and Guy. That was a really good use of timing right there. However, what's important here is we do see there's a bit of a darkness to Mirai, which is going to be important moving forward. Essentially, we get a flashback of her looking through the files that would have been in the Hokage Tower, where she reads the information on Hidan and the information surrounding Asuma's death, and once she learns that they're headed to a land of steam, her face perks up. And what I like about this is that there's a scene that was not in the anime that fully explains why they went to the land of steam and why this whole scene right here is so important. It wasn't just what you saw in the anime. I cannot stress that again. There's a great example of the famous Naruto line that a ninja must learn to see past deception. There's a hidden meaning behind all of this, something I'm really disappointed the anime didn't fully strike home with its version of this arc. Overall, I think Sai Natsuo's 2 for 2 with what he's been able to do artistically, as well as adding in new scenes to the manga version to keep it from feeling like a complete retelling of the anime version of the story. My question to you guys is, based off of what you've seen in the last 2 chapters, has Mirai become a likable character in your opinion, or does she need more to get you more invested in her character? While you think that over, click here to watch my Spy Family video on Kryptonian Saiyan, or click here for this other Naruto Explained video.